1987 Bega Valley Rally had it all. Dust and rain, triumph and tragedy, and a storybook ending. The event broke cars and broke hearts, and confirmed its place as one of the most prized trophies in Australian rallying. Friday night before the rally, and the drivers and their crews gather at a Bega workshop for pre-race scrutineering. Officials went over each of the 80 cars entered with a critical eye, checking for legality and safety. The event was the third round of the Australian Rally Championship, and amongst the entry were some of the nation's best drivers and navigators, including the husband and wife team of David and Kate Officer in their powerful Mitsubishi Starion.
We obviously hope to do well. It's all a bit of an unknown quantity at the moment, but we think we can give them a good shake and hopefully have a good run and try and win this one. We need to, from the point of view of the point score.
Mild-mannered schoolteacher and South Australian rally champion Ed Ordinsky and navigator Greg Pearce were expected to do well in their Subaru four-wheel drive, one of a growing contingent of all-wheel drive machines changing the face of rallying. The most glamorous of these was the rare and very expensive Audi Quattro of little-known Queenslanders Jeff Keys and Robert Carter. More traditional was the Alpha GTV6 of twice Australian champions Greg Carr and Fred Gacentis. Along with the championship leaders Wayne Bell and David Boddy in their Toyota Sprinter, they were expected to set the pace. But the man everyone knew they had to beat was hometown whiz kid and New South Wales rally champion David Eadie. The Bega boy and navigator Chris Shearer came to national prominence by winning the event the year before. This time they would be even harder to beat in a new state-of-the-art Mazda four-wheel drive. Race day dawned sunny as Bega's population turned out to view its biggest sporting event. The rally is to Bega what the James Hardie 1000 is to Bathurst, a great promotion and money spinner.
Away goes, give him a big hand, the local crew. It's great to see. Grin from ear to ear. David Eadie and Chris Shearer.
The initial special stages around Bega gave the first indication of how hard Eadie would be to beat. Using his local knowledge and driving brilliantly, Eadie pulled out a 10-second advantage on Bell and Carr on the first stage alone. By meal break at the end of the first afternoon, there were furrowed brows amongst opposition teams. Eadie had pulled out an amazing 30 seconds on Bell and Carr, and more than a minute on Dinter Officer.
Well, I must admit, I wouldn't mind being 30 seconds up on him, but no, it's early days, and we've done all the stages around Bega, which I'm sure David would admit he knows them pretty well.
The long nighttime stages were still to come, and the darkness and the dust would prove decisive in the 1987 Bega Rally. Increasingly, rallying is a spectator sport, but for the competitors, the events are still often decided on the long nighttime stages far from the spectator's view.
Tonight's pretty long. There's a couple of long stages, and I think, you know, so far we're just sort of all settling in and just sort of seeing where things lie. I think really the result of the rally will be determined sometime tonight.
And so it was in the 1987 Bega Valley Rally. David Eadie rocketed into the forest southwest of Eden with a 30-second lead, leaving a cloud of dust in his wake. It soon became apparent that it was the dust that would decide the event. Drastically reduced visibility slowed the other competitors, and Eadie was able to stretch his lead to 1 minute 46 over Bell. In the Audi Quattro surprised many by racing to 6th place before, late in the night, sliding into an embankment and out of the event.
How did he catch that?
On the longest stage of the rally, Eadie, Carr and Bell showed how intense the competition was by finishing just 4 seconds apart over 76 kilometres. Late in the night it began to rain, just enough to dampen down the dust, and immediately Bell began to catch Eadie, but it was too little too late, and by the restart on Sunday morning, the Bega whiz kid had a buffer of 42 seconds, a gap even Wayne Bell admitted would be almost impossible to bridge.
David lives in this area, and this is his backyard, and the roads are very slippery, and they really suit the extra traction of the four-wheel drive Mazda, so no, I expect Dave will extend his lead on us today, actually.
Bell and Carr tried in vain to catch Eadie. Ordinsky in the Subaru was proving that slow and steady, if not exactly winning the race, would guarantee 4th place. Dinter and Kate Officer were missing, having rolled their car on one of Sunday morning's special stages. And Adrian Taylor in his Honda Integra almost suffered the same fate. There was no stopping David Eadie, who simply ran away with the event in the final stages. He won by 2 minutes 24 from Bell, who was 1 minute 40 ahead of Carr after the two had been neck and neck for most of the event. The win put Eadie amongst the top rank of rally drivers and marked him as a future Australian champion.
Yes, a good result there for the Japanese jobs. The Mazda 323, the four-wheel drive, taking it out for David Eadie. From Wayne Bell in the Toyota, Greg Carr the Alpha, Ed Ordinsky, another Japanese car, the Subaru, and Jim Middleton in the Commodore. And after 3 rounds, we have Wayne Bell, though, still out 10 points in front.